Hello, my name is Morgan Ellery, and I am doing my presentation on a technology called eye tracking. The article that I read was an article on TechCrunch.com, which is a website that has a lot of information about new technologies, and it was posted by somebody named Ben Dixon. Ben Dixon is a software engineer, an active tech blogger, and he's actually the founder and editor of a site called Tech Talks, which is a blog site that examines trends in technology, how the technology affects the way we live, how it affects how we do business, the problems that they solve, but it also looks at kind of like the evil side of technology and darker implications of new technology and what we should be looking out for. So it's a really cool site. He's very experienced. He knows what he's talking about. The article itself was published February 19th, 2017, which wasn't very long ago. It was just under a year ago. And let's begin talking about eye tracking. So what is eye tracking? A simple definition for eye tracking is that it's a technology that monitors eye movements in order to use that eye movement as means of utilizing different features on a computer. The way it works is that the eye tracking that we're talking about is a non-intrusive eye tracking. So you're not actually like putting something crazy in your eye or anything, or like in your brain to like make things on a computer move. There's two components that make it work. It's a light source and a camera. The light source is usually like infrared, and it's directed toward the eye, while the camera tracks that reflection of the light source with visible ocular features like the pupil. That data is used to induce the rotation of the eye and ultimately the direction of the gaze. Additional information like blink frequency and pupil diameter changes are also detected by the eye tracker, and all of that kind of like controls what goes on your computer. So why is eye tracking useful in education and learning and teaching? The way I see it is that this device is most useful in terms of special education. It really assists a lot with communication. It helps people who cannot speak to communicate, and for those who are students, it helps them with their ability to participate in discussions with their peers in the classroom, and even with their teacher. They can ask their teacher questions more freely. They can engage in conversation easier. It just gives people a voice, and it's very accessible. It is also very beneficial to individuals who lack the ability with their motor skills, or who have any physical disabilities that kind of permits them from utilizing a keyboard or mouse, and limits their ability to work with a computer in the classroom. As we all know, computers in the classroom, and in education, as actually the course is called, it's increasingly important, and students with physical disabilities that cannot use a computer, this eye tracking technology is extremely useful to them, and they actually have to rely on it. Other uses for eye tracking. There are a lot of uses for eye tracking, actually, as brought up in the article. You can use it with virtual reality. If virtual reality is an immersive experience, and to even make it more immersive, virtual reality headset companies are making huge investments in eye tracking technology. They think it's something that can complement virtual reality. It's used a lot in PC gaming. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry about that. It is used a lot in PC gaming. Usually we use like gamepads or joysticks, keyboards, like the mouse, whatever, to game on our computers. But with eye tracking, your computer knows what you're looking at, and it can react accordingly, and it makes the game a lot more interactive. In terms of medicine, eye tracking can actually help physicians administer tests and find symptoms for illnesses ranging from simple concussions to autism to dyslexia. Like, you can diagnose a lot using this technology. With advertising, online advertisers could actually be able to measure how many human eyes are seeing their ads. Usually they can't measure this. They don't know if people are actually looking at the ads or not, if they're ignoring the ads, or like what's going on. But if we have the eye tracking technology, they can tell who is physically looking at the ad. And it can also be used a lot in market research with it'll be able to weigh the user's natural interaction with a product and service, and that enables researchers to identify how usable these products and services are, and, problems, frustration points, anything that can give insight to customer satisfaction and engagement with these products and services. So there are so many uses for this technology. It is not just education and learning. It's actually pretty incredible. So, moving on to the next slide. So, the future of eye tracking. A lot of people, it's believed that eye tracking will become so common among PC users that it's almost going to be just like another modality alongside touchscreens, mouse, touchpads, the voice and keyboard. It's just going to be another thing that everybody uses. And it's something that can really make computers much more productive and intuitive. Computers will be able to respond to you more effectively. They will be able to essentially read you. Not to sound kind of creepy, but they'll just, they have like a feature where if you look at the computer, it'll just like recognize your eyes and just like log you in, and if you step away from the computer, it'll automatically lock. Like, it's crazy. Like, you're interacting a lot more with your actual computer. It's very interesting. Oh no. Okay, sorry. Just plugging my computer in so it wouldn't die. Right, next slide. So there are, as with everything, there's highlights and there's pitfalls. We'll talk about the highlights first. The highlights with this technology is that it really improves communication. I have a quote from Oscar Warner, who's actually the vice president of this eye tracking company called Tobii Tech, which is one of the main companies that I've been looking at when researching this technology. He says that eye tracking sensors provide two main benefits. First, it makes a device aware of what the user is interested in at any given point in time. And second, it provides an additional way to interact with content without taking anything else away. That means that it increases the communication bandwidth between the user and the device. It's just a very interactive and convenient technology that can really, really help, especially with special education. But then, as with everything, it has its pitfalls. It can be so expensive, too expensive for schools. The cost can make it an unrealistic technology for schools to utilize in special education. The simplest device that I found goes for about $140, and that device just basically takes the mouse component away from the computer and replaces it with your eyes. So, like, if you want to click on the Internet Explorer and open it, you would use your eyes to do that instead of using the mouse and clicking with the mouse. For more complex assistive technologies that we would want for our special education students to use, so that they can do anything that any normal education student can do, like type up essays, conduct online research, and just so much more. Those products are usually $1,000 and up. I saw one that was it was $4,999, and I was like, whoa, I don't know how that would go. So unfortunately, that is a pitfall that we encounter with this technology when we want to incorporate it with education. My opinion I love this product. I wrote a little pros and cons list. I love this technology. I think it is just the coolest thing ever. It's so fantastic in terms of assistive technology for students with special education. It really improves their chance at excelling in the classroom, and it gives them the opportunity to be just like our normal education students. They can just do so much more, and I think it's something that's just like so important for people to look into. However, unfortunately, it is super expensive and just very pricey, and that can kind of deem it to be an unrealistic desire. Moving on, I have a few questions for you, whoever is listening. What do you think? Number one, do you think that the pitfalls outweigh the highlights of eye tracking? Is this technology worth it? What do you think about this technology? Number two, do you think that it can be more beneficial to education, or do you think that it could be just better off for any of the other categories that I mentioned before? And then number three, do you think it's realistic to implement this technology in the classroom? Why or why not? I'd be super interested to hear about your opinions of this technology and answers to my questions. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it.